I get shit done, I have fun. It's my time and I'm the one. I'm breaking through.
Hello, Coach Phil here on the Business Renovator. Today, customer experience versus customer service. Is there a difference? We're going to talk about that today and discover, we're going to find out what the difference is, if there is a difference, and why should we pay attention to that. So if you're watching this live with us today, thank you for being here. Appreciate that very much. If you're catching us on a replay, remember hashtag replay and let us know where you're coming from. And this is being pushed out to LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube, where we seek some help from you. As if you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel, we'd be greatly appreciative of that. And so now I'm going to bring in my sponsor, and then we'll get on with the show. I like that music. It's awesome. If you ever have a question for a business coach, you're in luck. I happen to be a Focal Point business coach, and I know a couple of hundred others around the globe. So if the question is something that I can't address, I can certainly get you connected to one of the other wonderful individuals of our team around the world. So shoot me an email at phil@coachphil.ca. Let me know that you have a question for a coach, and we go from there. The other thing we have as a gift for you being here today, if I've got the link there, is you can have a business assessment by going to my website, coachphil.ca, and do a check-in to see where we're at with your business. It's a good time to do it at the end of the year. You can do a stop and reassess and adjust for New Year. There's nothing to buy. We won't sell your email address. Everything's safe, but you just get some great information. I'm excited to bring on a cohort of mine, compadre, a friend, amigo, a guy who's in Texas where they don't have snow. He doesn't even like snow. I'm going to bring up my buddy, Dave Watkins.
Good morning, Phil.
Good day, sir. Welcome. Glad you're here again.
I'm glad to be here. I will tell you too, it's a beautiful cloudless sky and about 60 degrees here in Texas today.
Wow, that's warm.
Yes.
It's -8 here today.
Oh,
Celsius.
no.
Yeah, so that's still above freezing.
Yes, but it's getting too close for me.
Yeah. Well, you can't have everything. The downhill skiing sucks where you are.
Yes, we have only skiing on water here.
Yeah. So we have ice sailing here. You ever done that?
Never. I've seen people do it. It looks pretty exciting.
It is a lot of fun. The only trouble is the water's hard, so when you fall out, it really hurts.
I would imagine.
You have to wear a helmet. I've done it. I know. And your elbows. I didn't have elbow pads. Yeah, I had sore elbows. Anyway, we're not here to talk about ice sailing or ice fishing, which is another thing we can do up here. Pretty hard to do ice fishing where you are.
Right. Well, you can do it. You just have to have the ice in the glass while you're fishing.
But that was a good one. Anyway, customer experience versus customer service. Actually, I was dyslexic. It probably should read customer service versus customer experience. But regardless, what does it mean to you?
It means to me that I know a place I want to go back to because I have a good customer experience. I know a place that I'm okay with it. I got my money's worth, and I feel satisfied with what I got, and that's customer service.
Yeah. And often customer service is lip service, right? It's when businesses tout their customer service.
Right.
There's often not a lot of support from their consumers. saying that they
Right.
have great customer service.
Well,
I used to have a border collie. I don't have her anymore. I was gonna hold up a picture, but I don't have one anymore. I might tear up, so I bet it's best I don't do that. Anyway, talking about customer experience, customer service stories. When I had her, I moved from a different part of the city to another part of the city, and I thought, well, I'll support the local merchants. So I went to this place, and I was aghast because I had a 33-pound border collie when she was in shape. She ended up being 55 pounds later. But when she was in shape and an athlete and doing all those fun things that she used to do, I was in getting her nails cut because I hate doing that myself because I just don't like doing it. And so I saw they had this service, so I allowed them to do it. And one held onto my dog, 33 pounds, holding it quite tight, and the other one was clipping the nails. I said, "What the hell are you doing?" "Well, we're clipping the nails." I says, "I get that part. Why are you being so aggressive?" "Well, she might bite." He says, "You know what? You squeeze me like that, I'd bite you. We're done. Let her go. I'm out of here." That was customer service.
Mm-hmm. She was probably proud that you stuck up for her.
My dog, yes.
Yes.
And customer experience, though, as I went back to my old neighborhood to visit a friend, and I saw this new business had shown up, and they did drop-in nail clippings. They were a small grooming company. And I popped in there, and my gosh, what a difference. I brought my dog in, and the first gal said, "Oh my God." And she called her sister out. And I said, what's going on here? And they looked at my dog, and her sister started crying. I went, "Oh my gosh, what's going on?" They told me the story. It reminded me of one of their dogs, her sister's dog, they don't have anymore. So her memories. So when they worked on my dog, they sat on the floor with her. They didn't hold her. They had one girl doing it, clipped her nails and did it.
Wow.
So I went out of my way to go back there because of the customer experience, not the customer service, although theirs was pristine, but it was because of the experience. And that's what we're talking about today. What's the difference between customer service versus customer experience? So that's one of the stories I forgot about until you brought it up today, that we're going to talk about this. So thank you for that memory. That was awesome.
Oh, I'm happy to bring up all your memories.
Well, not all of them.
Some of them might not be so good.
Some of them were good.
Well, how did you feel when you walked in and saw the person doing the grooming sitting on the floor with your dog, taking care of her like that? How did that?
Yeah, that's a really good question to bring that up. I felt awesome. It was wonderful. It was just, they really cared about what they were doing. They were really engaged. They were not doing it for the money. They were doing it because they loved doing what they're doing. They love groom. My dog never got groomed because she's a border collie. Actually, that's not. She never got clipped, but she got washed once in a while, and got her nails clipped. But she never got her hair cut. But you could see them working on those breeds of dogs where they actually have to, cut them into poodles and Shih Tzus and those other breeds that need to be done like that. And their passion, interest, and excellence in what they were doing. They weren't doing it because they had to. They did it because they wanted to. This is what their purpose in life was. So yeah, great question.
So my hypothesis is that they, by loving and caring for someone that you cared for and loved so much, they penetrated in your emotional self to the point where they made an attachment to you.
Yes.
So they were able to, and it's not always like we're not always able to help someone's dog or someone who's, very loved by someone, but there's always a point of attachment that can be found if we're creative enough to do it. In that case, it just happened because that's the kind of person she was. But that's true everywhere.
And the dog thing is more of a, I don't know. It's more emotional than a lot of other things.
Yes.
You don't get that excited over a pizza.
Maybe.
Well, maybe. Well, wait a minute. I know this guy. His name's Eric Bam. He gets excited about anything pizza.
Yeah.
And he doesn't even make. Well, actually, he does make pizza. But what he does is he helps pizzas stay crisp, even in delivery, because they have the perfect crust product. Anyway, So yeah, maybe people do get that attached to their pizzas.
Or
I
the
have
experience, or the experience.
or the experience. Yeah, the experience of it. Well, that's probably true. Um, there's a local place here, and I had him on as a guest, and he has a Matador steakhouse and pizza place,
Mm.
and his passion for what he does and his attention to details. It's not just in him. I've had friends from all walks of life in my city that all have experienced the Matador pizza place,
Hmm.
right? Jason's philosophy to providing customer experience is
Mhm.
brilliant and is a really good example.
That's great.
I put this slide up here, ideal future and current reality. So when we're thinking about customer experience and customer service, what's the current reality here and what would be the ideal future? And there's two thoughts that come to mind for me. One is the consumer's current reality and what would the ideal outcome be for them. So go back to my dog story. The current reality is I ran into a company that did a lousy job, and it left me with an impression, just not a very positive, favorable one. And then I found another company that provided my ideal future. I wanted my dog's nails to be clipped, looked after, and cared for. As small a thing as that is, my dog was my kid at the time, and it was an important part of my life. So I still use that story in everything I do when it's relevant in my coaching and training business. It's because it's that impactful customer experience.
It really is. And I think we remember, oftentimes a good test is, do we remember those experiences?
Yeah.
Because you won't remember customer satisfaction for very long.
No.
You won't remember that you got a good pizza from the pizza place for
Probably
another
not.
couple of weeks, because you'll be on to your next pizza.
Yeah. But you
if
might
you're
remember to go
treated-
back there.
Yeah, if you're treated well and they do something that connects, then you'll remember and you'll go back, right?
Yeah, you kind of want to get this wow
Mhm.
experience, right?
Yeah.
And then digitally, we're all well, I don't all of us, but a lot of us rely on other people's feedback. It kind of shows up like this. What's the star rating of the places we're Googling? Right?
Mhm.
We put a lot of emphasis on what other people have said about it,
Mhm.
and we trust that almost blindly.
Yeah.
So it's an important sort of thing. So that would suggest to us that the experience these people had was a wow experience or an amazing
Mhm.
experience.
Yes.
Lots of thoughts going through my mind. So what?
So what?
So what? So
So
why do we
what?
think it's a big deal?
Well, can I tell you a story?
I wish you would.
I had a medical issue not too long ago, and I had to go see a doctor. And my doctor is one of the best doctors north of Houston. I live in the Woodlands, Texas. And I couldn't get in to see him for 3 months, but I needed to see him sooner than that.
Hmm.
And I explained that to the person that answers his call, and she said, well, he's just not available. And I said, well, is another doctor in the group available to see me? She said, yes, but if you go to him, you can never go back to see your other doctor. I said, oh my goodness. And this is someone I've been to for over 10 years, and
Wow.
our kids went to school together. If I saw him in the grocery store, I'd say hi. I mean, good guy. So I went to another hospital across the street who have mastered customer experience. And just because of that and the way they could talk to me and my experience with them in the past, I knew that I would not run into that kind of stuff there. And sure enough, it was a great experience. And that made the difference. So the quality of the doctor was about on par with each other, but it was the experience, a total journey through that hospital that was so good. I thought, why, that's really the trend now. we went through, I remember, I don't know, Phil, do you remember when customer satisfaction became a big deal and you started getting these questionnaires about customer satisfaction?
Yeah.
And now it's I think the finest companies are going beyond that. And it can happen for a small company like a pizza place or a large company like a hospital.
Well, it's funny you bring up the, well, not funny. It's interesting how you brought up the doctor. I needed to, my doctor set up a referral to a specialist, the dermatologist. And that was in 2019. I got a call in 2020, set the appointment. It's going to happen in March, mid-March 2020. How I got the notification as I was having an appointment for March by this doctor was a robotic voice, which was like the very entry-level robotic type of animated. It was awful. Telling me I have an appointment and all the rules and regulations about that appointment. And then, you know, mid-March, I got another one saying that my appointment, same robotic programmed voice, saying my appointment has been canceled due to COVID. Well, I thought, well, this is great. So I didn't do anything about the condition. Fortunately, it wasn't life-threatening. It was just uncomfortable, skin ailment. And I hadn't seen a doctor for a checkup because of COVID. I just decided to stay away, and I didn't have any compelling reason to go. And I thought, you know, I haven't had my blood work done and checked with sugar levels and all that kind of stuff. So I thought I better go. It's been a while. And I was adamant with my doctor. I says, I never got in to see the dermatologist. And matter of fact, I never want to go to that. Do you have anybody else you can refer me to? And they did. He found someone, and you know what happened? I got a follow-up call, email, a phone call, and then and they left me an email to arrange for a call back. And that was within 3 weeks of that second referral. And then 3 or 4 weeks later, I was in seeing the doctor. And it turns out I have something that's easy to remedy. And then I had the prescription, and everything's rosy. And I think this doctor was amazing.
Isn't that great?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Customer experience with what they delivered versus customer service, which was what the robot did.
Yeah. And it can be, I think a lot of times the companies that are leading in customer experience are the big ones because they're more visible to us. But I remember going to a small coin shop in the little community I grew up in. The guy who owns it is married to a former high school teacher where I went to high school at that time. And every time I went there, it was more than just, I was trying to sell coins, my uncle's coins for him. And it was more than just selling coins, because he would show me his most precious stuff and most interesting things just to share it because he loved coins.
Yeah.
And he kept in touch, and I still remember him, and I would love to go back just to see him if we go back there, which we probably won't.
But you're still thinking about him.
I'm still thinking about him, and if I ever had a question about coins, that's who I would call.
Yeah.
And his son also was a great guy and went to my high school, although much younger than I am.
There's a stat, and I don't know if it's still current today, but it's probably similar. That of 280 people that we meet, if we have a negative experience, we're likely to tell about 280 people. If we have a positive experience, we'll tell about a handful.
Yeah.
Right?
That's yeah. We are humans.
I know, it's crazy. So if that ratio is still relevant today in some form, it would be in a business owner's best interest to be the one that gets only 10 or so comments, because they're going to be positive. But you know, everybody knows a rule of thumb about 250 people. So if those 10 people know 250 people, it's not 2,500 people that get impacted.
Right. It's
2,500 times whatever the scientific compounding factor of that is. But it's also true with the 280, because there's another company that actually spurred me on to work with another fellow that you and I both know, and we're working on a digitally done for you newsletter process. And when we put together our webinar for it to show what it's all about, I was inspired by a company that did a really lousy job in fixing my furnace. And I reiterated the whole experience. I left the name of the company off because that's not important. But if you would just ask me privately, I absolutely would tell you who to stay away from. But on the other hand, I had a problem a little while after that, a couple years later, that the furnace needed some more tender loving care. And I found another company. And this company, I remember, and I'll tell you for different reasons. They did they did more than what they said they were going to do. And if we can get people to, as business owners and entrepreneurs, serve people and show up that way, their word of mouth strategy will be like on steroids. The positive impact it'll have. And partly where that comes from is I'm going to share this slide here. Or am I sharing it? No, we're not sharing it yet. I'm going to share it right now. Watch this. Here we go.
Okay.
I'm going to see what we can do.
Right now, it's going to happen.
Here it comes.
No pressure.
Right. Oh, look, we're at the bottom of the screen. That's a new.
There it is.
And so active listening. Active listening isn't just listening with your ears. It's hearing with your eyes. So what are you seeing in the experience that people are having? So I think that's what active listening is bringing more than just the ears. It's bringing in the eyes and any other senses to pay attention to our customers and serving them how they want to be served.
Yeah. What was that?
What do you think?
About the difference between the two?
Yeah, or even the significance of active listening.
Oh, I think it's vital. And because if we do that, we can tell whether someone is delighted or not, if we're honest with ourselves, because their words may say, "This was a great experience. Thank you so much. I'll see you again." And when they say it like that, it means, yeah, you just blew it, buddy. And but we can tell by using our senses what is the tone of voice, what is the body language, and so I think one study I saw said 80% of communication is body language. So the words are just a part of it, and so the listening, as you've described, is critical, I think.
And if we're neither of us are in this business of this slide, I'm going to show this image.
So pizza?
No, we're not in that business either. No, but this one, look at this.
Oh,
right?
Yes.
What an experience that would be to be in a structure like that, in a forest like that, with a view that it possibly has. I'm imagining the view is either more forest or they're elevated and they can see into the valley. That's to me as a customer experience kind of moment. It's not how everybody's experience of everything would be, but it just kind of spoke to me as to the difference between service in a hotel room and an experience in a room. Like one of the other ones that I know you wouldn't like this because it involves cold weather, but there's ice hotels that are built every year in certain parts of the world.
Yeah.
And people have that experience. It's not just the service, it's the actual experience.
I've heard about that. It's amazing. I can't imagine doing it.
And if you can help people I figured you couldn't because there's not enough heat. But if we can make people feel that way, I'm going to fix this. So there we go. Life is good. And if we can make people feel like life is good with what we do in terms of our products or our services, or our offerings, then I think we're arrived and we're really making a positive impact on the people we want to serve. Don't you think?
I think so. I think that's helping people feel like life is good is the key to repeat business, I think.
It is.
There's a phrase that was used when the whole customer experience idea got started before we even knew to call it that. At the time, we were still calling it customer satisfaction. and it was the entree of this phrase is delighting the customer. Remember that? And it's still as valid today as has always been. But the phrase that we used to use for treating customers is exceeding their expectations.
Yeah.
And it's hard to do that because their expectations change. But I've been watching, like, this hospital I went to, and this coin shop I went to, and the Amazon, Apple. They're continually and proactively staying ahead of our changing expectations. So now pretty soon, Amazon's going to be delivering packages before we order them, because they'll have some way of figuring out what it is we want.
And if it's not what we want, they'll take it back and not charge us anything.
Right.
Right. Yeah.
Exactly. And the pace at which they and Apple both come up with these things is astounding to me.
It is, yeah.
It's a lot of investment on their part.
There's a shoe store that broke the paradigms of buying online, and people were saying it would never happen. The originator, CEO of the company, has passed away at a very young age. But Zappos is a shoe store online, and was one of the early online kind of entities out there. And people were saying, no, that won't work. Women want to put their shoes on, feel them, see them. They'll never buy them online. Well, he broke that paradigm because he did things to make the customer experience make sense. And he empowered his team to make business decisions. They had a no hassle return. If you didn't like them, didn't like the color, they didn't fit, send it back. And they paid shipping both ways. I don't know if that's still true, but when they started, they did. So the customer experience was vastly different than any other place, right?
It's funny too, because then that's a online experience where we often think of customer experience being a personal thing.
Yeah, and it was much more dynamic than that now.
Yeah, I read that one of the key aspects of customer experience is speed. How quickly can you get what you want? How quickly can you contact someone? How long do you wait in a waiting room to see a doctor? Those types of things. So we're oriented toward fast-paced living now.
We are. I think that came from the fast food industry. It's kind of programmed us to be of that mindset. I'm going to bring this slide up, buddy. I bring this up because there's a bunch of words in there, and I'm not sure what the fish have to do with it. I guess fish in a bowl. But I like the words. That these words mean different things to different people. Habit, meaning, belief, observation, sensation, longing, legacy, relax, expectation, story, sensitivity, intuitiveness. We're just talking about that, right? They're going to know in advance of what we want to buy, and before we know it, as you were saying. So the thought. So there's, I don't know how many words on here, but there's a lot. And I think providing customer experience requires being aware of many of these words, if not all of them. History, discomfort, interpretation, habits, sensations, traditions, lots of words.
That's one of the things that I think about when I see that image is that's the world in which we live.
Yeah.
For fish, it's the water. For us, it's the air. It's all of those things are part of our lives now in a way that they haven't been for a long time, if ever. I also like the fish, Phil.
You like to.
I like the words, but I like the fish.
You like to act the activity of fishing.
No, I like the fish in your picture.
Oh, you like the fish in my picture. Okay, cool. So this reminds me, I had a guest on a few weeks ago from Australia, and she's all about our biases, and she helps people understand and work through that. And one of the things that was an epiphany almost for her, or maybe for me or both of us, was the fish doesn't even know it's in the water.
Exactly. Yeah. We don't
Right.
know the environment we're in either sometimes.
So that fishbowl of words kind of has that representation for me.
Yeah.
And if we can help people differentiate themselves from the water that they're in, metaphorically, I think that's where the customer experience really shows
Mhm.
up, because we've made people feel different. Who is that lady that I forget her quote? People won't remember what you said. People won't remember who you are, but they never forget how you made them feel.
I don't know, but she sounds pretty smart.
Well, she was very smart. I just don't recall who. It's a famous lady. She's passed on, but that was one of her things. The way we help people feel has more impact than most other things.
Yeah, that's
If we can make them feel important, feel good, feel happy, feel whatever those words in that fishbowl are that are important to them,
Mhm.
I think that's delivering customer experience, isn't it?
I think so too.
Do you have a nugget to share with our audience?
A nugget.
Yeah.
I guess I
Burn-
made a list. I made a list of things that characterize customer service and things that characterize customer experience and how they're different. And what I notice is that customer service is very reactive. So customer comes in, oh, hi, how are you? Welcome to our store. And they leave, bye. Hope you enjoy what you bought. And that's it. Whereas customer experience is very proactive. What's the person going to see when they walk in the store? How do we want to greet them? How can we stay in touch with them? How can we exceed their expectations? Those types of things, like I mentioned before about expectations. But one is very proactive, the other is reactive. One is transactional, the other is relational. Not necessarily a personal relationship, but a relationship like with Zappos, with the company. Amazon, I don't have a relationship with one person at Amazon, but I have a relationship with Amazon.
Correct.
That's my nugget. That's it. That's all
That's
I
a
got.
brilliant nugget. That brings us to a wrap, my friend. Customer service versus customer experience. What are you doing? What do you prefer? If you're in business, have a business, what are you going to do if you're not doing it already that would change your experience for your customers and clients? Dave, as always, it's been a pleasure.
Thanks, Phil. Merry Christmas to you and to everyone else who might be listening here.
Right. And a Happy New Year and all the best in 2022.
Yes, sir.
A lot of things to contemplate there. One of the things I want to leave you with today, again, is to add this to the stream. Hang on. Here it comes. Go out and be wonderful, because you are. That's why the U is so large, is to remind you to be your wonderful self, be your unique, wonderful self. If you enjoyed what this is about, and you know of somebody who has a message that you would like to share with the world, let them introduce them to me at phil@coachphil.ca, and let's get them on the air and share their story and make 2022 a wonderful experience. That's it until the next episode of the Business Renovator. I'm Coach Phil. We'll see you soon.
I get shit done, I have fun. It's my time and I'm the one. I'm breaking through.